welcome back. And you find me today upon my Moto Guzzi V7 Stone Special Edition. Hey! And the first job is to express my sincere thanks to each and every one of you, because this week, way earlier than I had anticipated, I hit the 10,000 subscriber landmark. Now I know in the world of YouTube, 10,000 subscribers is small beer, but it means a massive amount to me, and something of a staging post, shall we say. And of course, as I'd said previously on the channel, my hopes and expectations all centred around arriving at that particular landmark towards the end of July, around about my birthday. But it's come a good, what, 7 weeks earlier? Aye, wonderful stuff. So yeah, thank you to everybody there who's liked, shared, particularly subscribed, and otherwise supported the channel. I really do appreciate it. Aye, so onwards and upwards, hopefully. So yeah, here we are on Luigi, my Moto Guzzi V7. And now this bike's well past its first service now, and it's really opening up nicely. A lot of shake, rattle and roll about Moto Guzzis, of course, and this V7 here be no different. So if you're after a refined bike, hey, with sewing machine like qualities, don't get a Moto Guzzi, because it's pretty much a Heath Robinson affair. Seat your pants stuff, old school. And yes, you know, you get these reviews, don't you, where you might get a reviewer saying, oh, there's a bit of vibration through the pegs, oh, there's a bit of vibration through the bars, oh, there's a bit of vibration through the seat, yada yada yada. Let me tell you, on these here bikes, there's a bit of vibration through absolutely everything. So it's a cracking bike for rattling your knackers. Hey! Provided you're the male of the species, of course. So yeah, there's plenty of shake, rattle and roll goes on with these here Guzzis, and I don't mind it at all. I think it really adds to the authenticity of the bike. Particularly in terms of its, shall we say, retro heritage or vintage heritage. So yeah, the only issues that it has caused me is my hands, which don't have the best circulation in the world, to be fair. But after a prolonged period of riding with this bike, start to get a little bit tingly in the old palms. So I've fitted these here grip puppies. In fact, I've got them on the CF Moto as well, these here grip puppies. They're not expensive, and they do a cracking job of dampening down the more immediate nature of the vibration through the handlebars. They just take that sort of buzz and sting out of it. So yeah, for about, I don't know what they are now, about 12, 14 quid, aren't they? Don't buy them cheap 3 quid jobs and bloody sponge roly-poly jobs. They don't last 2 minutes, but the grip puppies are really, really substantial, and I've done a cracking job at dampening down some of the vibrations through these here grips. But other than that, absolutely no issues with this fantastic bike. I absolutely love it to bits, and it's a head turner. It turns other people's heads, and it turns my head when I walk away from the bike, because I always have to turn around, look back, look at the bike and think, by heck, you're a looker. I think they've got the design spot on with these. What with this almost unique transverse V-twin air-cooled configuration and a shaft drive, something of a rarity. The only other bike in history I can think of that sported that configuration, transverse V-twin like this and shaft drive, was the old Honda CX500, you know, the old plastic maggot. And I think that configuration also featured in the short-lived Silver Wing. You remember that, the Honda Silver Wing? Same engine, 500cc transverse V-twin shaft drive. Little sister of the Goldwing, and then that sort of died a death, and the Silverwing name I think was used on scooters for a bit. Aye. So yeah, quite a rarity, but yeah, a very, very special individual feeling riding this here bike. Handles like a dream as well, and with these Arrow exhaust on this special edition model, a lovely Basso Profondo Raw. Hey, and I think black and red, which is what this colour scheme is an absolute classic. It's black and red, and black and gold's always a classic combination, isn't it? And black and green to a certain extent, but I think the black and red always reminds me of old butcher's bikes for some strange reason. But back in the day, like butcher's delivery bikes, always used to have used to be sort of black and have like red coach working on them. Well, ones I saw did, anyway. Hey. Aye, so, yeah, 10,000 subscribers, so onwards and upwards. And for those of you who might be new to the channel, I do a lot of bike reviews. I do scenic rides in and around the Yorkshire Dales. I do occasional bits and bats in the garage. I do occasional product reviews. And I generally take great pleasure in spending as much time as I possibly can out and about bringing, excuse me, bringing you content. Because I know sometimes if you can't ride, or it's winter months, or you're without a bike for a long period of time, or whatever, if you're like me, you can get a lot of vicarious enjoyment by watching other people's endeavours out and about on a motorbike. Excuse me. Local frogs that crawl down my throat. Hey. Now, one thing's for certain, the way the weather's been, it can't be bloody hay fever, can it? Now, I've just seen Stuart Fillingham's latest video this morning, and hey, I have to say, on this occasion, I absolutely 100% agree with him. If you haven't already seen it, it's basically calling into question the proclamation from the Met Office, ably supported by the likes of the BBC, claiming that this spring's been the hottest on record since records began in 1884, something like that. And when I first saw that on the news, warmest spring, warmest May since records began, so I thought, you are bloody joking. You are absolutely taking the piss. Must think we're stupid. Start again. Must think we're absolutely bloody stupid. It's been absolutely bollock numbing freezing. For the vast majority of spring so far. I mean, we're now today's the 12th of June, and however you calculate the beginning and end of spring, whether it's the meteorological method or the astronomical method, either way, it's been absolutely pants. It's been just consecutive days of cold and, for the most part, rain. And then you see it splashed all over the news. Met Office have declared it's the hottest spring since records began. What an absolute pile of nonsense. I suggest, folks, Met Office people, you better go check your equipment and give your head a wobble at the same time. Yeah, as Uncle Stuart said, gaslighting. Pure and simple. We're obviously all just imagining all this pissing rain and freezing cold in the middle of the British summer. Unbelievable. Yeah, complete and utter gaslighting. And trying to say, well, it's because it's been unseasonably warm through the night. Yeah, that's right, innit? Try and justify it by saying actually it happens when you're all asleep and you can't tell whether it's cold or not. That's what it is. Dear oh dear. Yeah, just feed them that line. You can imagine them saying, can't you? Yeah, just feed them that line. Tell them it's because it's you know, it's unseasonably warm through the night, and they'll know no different because they'll all have been tucked up at home in bed. I don't know about you, but well, number one, I don't like being told lies. And number two, I particularly don't like being told lies by the establishment, by the powers that be, the ruling elite, whatever you want to call them. I particularly don't like that. But number three, what really, really, really gets my goat is when they do it in such a patronising, condescending, contemptible way. You know what I mean? Treating us all like complete fools, like we can't work these things out for ourselves. And the arrogant assumption that if anything is proclaimed, in the name of science by one or more of these established institutions, that it is not for the great unwashed like you and me to challenge it. And that really does, that boils my piss, pardon the expression. But I'm sure you know what I mean. I just, I'm quite prepared. I mean, for a very, very long time, and to a certain extent still, I'm quite prepared to place some considerable degree of trust and belief in what I'm told by elements of the establishment that historically we've come to trust by and large. But when it comes to the point that you are being told something which your lived experience completely and utterly contradicts, and by some measure contradicts, then it calls into question the whole integrity of some of these bodies. And I sort of wonder now what other things we've been told porky pies about. Don't bear thinking about, does it? And it's a shame really, because general mistrust in a population is not good for a stable society. It's not good at all. And when it comes to the point where now my first thought whenever I'm told anything by national government, local government, established organisations, all these sort of corporate and public bodies that we've been supposed to trust implicitly over the years, my first thought whenever anything is trotted out now is, this probably isn't accurate, and at worst it's probably not remotely true. And that is not a good state of affairs. I suppose it's almost like an inverted form of crying wolf, isn't it? Where we've been fed all this Bravo Sierra down the years, and it's reached saturation point, and now we've sort of transitioned from a point where we might have been mildly sceptical about some of these things that we've been told, to the point where we just cannot accept it at face value. And of course all these things are quote unquote supported with empirical data, quote unquote. But all that data, the data that they hold, I don't know how you would even begin to independently verify and either debunk or corroborate, as the case may be, some of these assertions. I don't know how you go about that. I don't think you can. I think you've just got to believe what you're told. But what I can say categorically, it's about lived experience, isn't it? And hey, people of my generation have been kicking about for a long time, and when over a lifetime occupation, your work, your job is heavily influenced by the weather. And when your two main passions in life, which in my case would be motorcycling and photography, I mean now videography obviously, but down the years you develop an acute sense of the changing misfortunes associated with the British weather and the UK climate in general. And because of course policing, as anybody will tell you, when it comes to coppering, policing, that if it's a nice weekend and sun's out, blazing warm, or if we have a sustained heat wave, things of that nature, that public disorder goes through the roof. Because hot weather means tempers flare, but hot weather means people gathering numbers socially in public places outside, usually getting a bit of the old froth down them, and it can be the perfect combination of ingredients for a bit of a knock, a bit of a ruck, a bit of a punch up. So absolutely. And you can guarantee that if it's absolutely bloody cold and pissing it down, that even on what would otherwise be a very public order orientated period, such as New Year for example, will probably be quite muted. And it is indeed the case. And of course same with motorcycling, you know, the weather patterns, particularly in this country, significantly impact upon our passion and the extent to which we can enjoy it. So you get finely attuned, don't you, over time, to what it's like. And I remember, and I'm sure many of you out there will remember, the long hot summer of 1976. Which has not since been repeated. Not since been repeated, and we have had hot spells. The ones that I can remember, 1976. I remember the summer of 1976. I was 13, transitioning to 14, and that were just like 3-4 months of boiling hot, totally blue skies, zero rain, hosepipe bans and bloody all sorts of things like subsidence caused from earth drying out and all the rest of it. A proper drought. 1976. Subsequent to that, the one that I remember is probably 1995. Hello? Hey! Yeah, 1995 was a long hot summer. Because I remember I'd just been promoted to sergeant and I was working out of Manningham in Bradford, which was a bit of a war zone. I think it's fair to say a bit of a war zone in any weather. But that year, yeah, we had many weeks of back-to-back cloudless skies and very, very warm temperatures. 95, and then the other one I remember is 2006. Similar sketch, and the other one that I remember is more recently 2018. And of course, if you remember pandemic year 2020, ironically, when we were all grounded, that was a particularly good spring and early summer. It was absolutely glorious, and of course we were all stuck at home. So yeah, you know, as motorcyclists, we're finally attuned to the changing fortunes of the weather, aren't we? But I don't care how much empirical data, scientific data, or any other amount of evidence that you claim to have supports this ridiculous notion that we've had the warmest spring on record. Let me tell you, it's absolute tosh. It's absolute tosh. How can it be the warmest spring on record when it's been cold and wet for as long as we can remember? And then compare that to 2020, lockdown year, when we had a long, hot spring and early summer. So we're to believe, are we, that what we've experienced here in the UK in the last couple of months is actually hotter than that memorable 2020 hot spring? Absolute garbage. I'm not having it. And so yeah, Uncle Stuart, I know we don't always agree on everything, but you're absolutely hit the nail on the head there. And I'm just getting sick and tired of being patronised by these holier-than-thou, conceited, arrogant people that just assume that they've got, that because they're a member of a certain organisation and might have a few letters after the name, that they can lord it all over the rest of us and expect to be believed simply because of who they are, rather than because of any credible evidence. Aye. Anyway, that's my little rant over. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Because I'm just getting a bit desperate now for some summer warm weather to come along. I mean, like I say, it's the 12th of June today. I've had to put the liner back in all my jackets. I've got 2 layers of thermals under these here strides. I've got my winter gloves on. It's just coming up to midday in the middle of June, and I'm still cold. Not to worry. After all, it's been the hottest spring since records began. Right, let me know in the comments below if you agree, and but if you do have a cogent and coherent argument which supports what we're being told, then please let me hear them, because I'm more than happy to be convinced. If anybody to come along and say, look, this is why it's actually true, and this is why it doesn't appear to you to be the case, that this is why it is, I'm more than happy to accept it. So if anybody out there is able to do that, let me know. I can put my mind at rest. Hey dear. Any road up. So, just thought I'd come out and say thank you to everybody for contributing towards the 10,000 subscribers, which is now a good bit more than 10,000 subscribers. Thank you. To just sort of update you on the progress of my Moto Guzzi V7 Stone Special here, and how much I'm enjoying it. And to have a bit of a bellyache about this here weather. Because if you remember, last year were a damp squib as well. Summer. Last summer, certainly from July, back end of June, second half of June, all of July, all of August, all of September, were just a damp squib, wasn't it? And then pretty much on and off like that all the way through now to summer. Right, anyway, like I say, let me know what you think in the comments below. So, until the next time, and in the meantime, ride safe, be kind, and I'll see thee.